I was thinking about something I've trained on many times over the past 10, 11 years, is pattern interrupts. And usually when I train on a pattern interrupt, it's like you and your client are going this way in a sales situation or service call or whatever. And your client gets into this mode where they're like, okay, I'm with one of these people who's beating my eardrum up to sell me something that I don't need, don't want, and will regret if I end up buying it, right? It's like walking through Sam's Club or Costco or BJ's or whatever you have in your area, and you get that couple guys from Boost Mobile or whatever, that they're just like predatorily standing there waiting for you to walk too close. And if you're like my wife, she does like a football end around where she sweeps back behind the quarterback and gets to the other side and makes me head the guys off, but you have that look almost, whether you know it or not. And even if you don't, sometimes the client just gets that feeling like this is the situation they're in, and they just kind of start closing down, and you feel it and you know it, but we just kind of power forward and just do what we've always done, either assuming it'll work out, or especially early in your career, you're just like, I don't even care, just get me out of this super uncomfortable situation. And I've been there. And what we have to do is, like, if that's not you, if what you're presenting is something that you've installed for many clients or sold to many clients in the past, and they're like raving fans, like they should be, then you need to work through this thing and get them to the other side and let them become a raving fan, right? So a pattern interrupt for that might be just literally calling it out, right? It's saying, hey, I feel like I'm losing you here. I feel like whatever you feel, say what you feel. And then say, I want you to know that this is something that I've had dozens or hundreds or whatever for you personally of clients, or if you don't have a lot of experience with it, use the whole team. You've seen the Google reviews, right? Say we've had hundreds or thousands of clients do this, and I can show you some reviews that they've written us after they've used this product to help you understand how much you will love this thing, right? So that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about in the pattern interrupt thing is ourselves as technicians, or salespeople. So I talk a lot about gratitude. The very first step in my sales process is a G for gratitude. And it's not like, hey, thanks for shopping at McDonald's or whatever. It's like not that fake, just I have to say this or I get in trouble thing, right? It's a genuine, I think of a reason that I'm grateful for this person on the way to the house. If I'm fortunate enough to have an apprentice with me, whether they're a great apprentice or not, you have someone to bounce stuff off of. Now look, I understand that we're all freaking practical jokers and stand-up comedians when we have an apprentice in the passenger seat, and we're going to listen to our music, or we're going to tell jokes, or we're going to complain about the meeting or the dispatcher or fellow techs or last client or whatever. Just pretend for 1 second that you're here to make money today. Just pretend for 1 second that the client could really benefit from you doing your job properly. And if you take 10 minutes to do this with your apprentice, or if you don't have one, with another tech on the phone, or before you leave the shop, instead of going to the dumpster to complain and confess the boss's sins, you say, hey, just come over here, step aside with me and role play real quick. Help me come up with some gratitude for my next client. Here's who they are. Here's the history on the call if there is any. I need to figure out a reason I'm really grateful for them today without meeting them. Like, it's not easy, but the work is worth it. So now, one of three things is going to happen. You're going to use that gratitude and you're going to sell the call, and you've made money, and that client is now a raging fan of your organization and you personally. Or you're going to go to that home and not be able to get an answer for whatever reason, hopefully get a revisit when both spouses can be home or what have you. But that spouse or that client got to feel some genuine gratitude that might be the only gratitude they feel that entire day. Or number three, you get a no. They say, no, thank you. It's not for me. I can't afford it. You find that you get to the home, and that rare occasion that we don't have anything that we offer that they could benefit from. It happens, right? But you still got to make that person feel a genuine heartfelt gratitude that might be the only one they felt that entire day, especially a mother of four who's a stay-at-home mom. So hit them with that. That's a pattern interrupt. Well, what's another one? I talk about that one a lot, and I was thinking, let me think up a little bit different one. Well, a different one might be where you've done all that and you walk into the home. Just imagine doing this on your first call today, or whatever call you're going to today. First call tomorrow is you walk in and you say, here is my goal for this appointment. My goal is that the second I walk out of your door, when we're all done, You're texting friends and family to tell them what an amazing experience you had today with Brian Burton of Brian Burton Incorporated Plumbing or whatever, right? You're texting people to tell them how amazing this experience was. Now, time out. If you say that to a client, what is your performance going to be like the rest of that call? Are you going to have time to sit on your upside down bucket in their basement or garage and, scroll TikTok or Instagram, watch some Waste No Day clips? No, you don't have time for that. You're thinking like, dude, I'm hoping that ends up that way. So I have to perform to that level. Okay, now back in. Now, sir or ma'am, what I'm going to ask from you is, if at any point during this appointment I say or do anything that makes you feel like, I'm not going to be texting my friends and family, or I'm going to be texting them swear words about how horrible the experience with Brian was today, God forbid. If at any point you feel like that, could you do me a favor? Just put your hand up and say, I didn't love that. Right? No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm nothing. I just need to know. Does that make sense? And if the client says, yes, that makes sense, stick your hand out and say, all right, I can count on you. And that's it. That's a pattern interrupt where you're going into your call one way with one mindset. And just like that, by making that statement to that client, your cognitive dissonance sets in. You've made a promise to yourself and to that person. And all of a sudden you got to step your game up. But really, what's the downside? The downside is you don't live up to that commitment. So don't do that. More every Monday on the Waste No Day podcast, baby. Waste no day.